This is a perfect opportunity to make new connections. Interestingly enough, what I was picking up on was more platonic or strategic. So for those of you that might be looking for a job or simply to expand your network, this is an optimal time to do that. If you are looking for relationships, the energy really needs time to grow. So it starts off first as a slow burn, friendship, and then the potential for more. Now, the other thing that I was picking up on is more career related. And it feels like some of you may be a combination of busy and bored, or just feeling like you're ready for a challenge. And one thing that's kind of interesting is we often shy away from that energy of boredom, but it can help us because when you're bored, you daydream. And when you hit that sort of energy of feeling like this isn't it, it gives you permission to explore. So don't be afraid to be bored, but ask yourself, what do I want to do instead of this? The last thing that I picked up on in channeled messages was this sort of liminal space where you're ready to take a jump or a leap of faith, but for now, you're staying put. So it feels like you're strategically trying to pick the perfect month, the perfect time, or the perfect amount of money that you need in order to do this. So I just wanted to celebrate, for those of you that are at that point, the fact that, just like we talked about, you're dreaming, planning, and imagining. And that probably is the big takeaway from all of this is, if you don't like where you're at, imagine or entertain a different path. Because you aren't stuck, there may just be a lack of imagination right now. And if you give yourself permission and encouragement to think, what if, why not, then doors and windows of opportunity begin to open. So I'm asking you, why not? Let's explore. Let's see what wants to come through this month. By the way, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is for Cancer in the month of August 2026. Let's give the cards a shuffle and explore. I know many of you like to see Apollo. We'll give him a little pat, but he is asleep, so I don't want to disturb him too much. Hey, buddy. You good boy? Yes. Good job. I know. We'll check in on him later, but in the meantime, why don't we go ahead, as I said, and select a deck here and see what this month has to offer you. I want to start off with past, present, and future. So one thing that you can do while I'm shuffling the cards is just close your eyes, welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. And if you'd like, if it's convenient, you can imagine that you are on a beach, sun overhead, connecting to source energy. All right, so we'll look at the past, present, and one for the future. Beautifully aligned with our channeled messages, we have the Two of Wands in the past. This is that card of dreaming, imagining, and entertaining possibilities. I'll pull the traditional illustration up in just a moment, but I do like the way that this one was interpreted. We see someone on a bridge between two spaces, the past and the future. And the past does not solely define us, nor does it constrain us. The future is that second wand. What if, why not? And if you haven't given yourself permission in a while to dream or to explore the possibilities, do so. Sometimes when this comes through, it's just an invitation to watch a movie, read a book, listen to a podcast, or talk to someone that inspires you, because if they can do it, why can't you do it? And of course, this is a rhetorical question because the answer is you can do it. All that's really required is a plan or a blueprint. So why not create one this month? Take away that question, should I do it? And put in front of it, when will I do it? And this is how you can start to manifest. But you have to believe that it's possible. So focus on the faith and then create the action plan. In the present, we have the Six of Pentacles. It's all about choices. This card reminds you that you have to be realistic in your goals and in your aspirations. So what you can do here is look at it on three levels: your scope, your budget, and your timeline. One or more of these may need to be flexible in order to get things done. So, for instance, if you're really concerned about quality, you can do it, but you may need to ask for more time. If you're really concerned about budget and you can't do it all on your own, then you need to seek external funding for this. Otherwise, you might just need to limit the scope and say, you know what, quality is the most important. I'd rather do less and do it better. So think about how you want to approach the challenge. There's no right or wrong way, and you might decide to move around a couple of these things, But as you do that, something's going to move out on the horizon and you can still make this happen. So it's either going to take more time, more money, or more people. And a lot of times this has to do with projects. So home improvement or something that you're working on at work. But even just organizing an event like a birthday party. Maybe you have fewer people, or you do it at a different venue, or you have a little bit more leeway on the timing when you're planning. Something has to be flexible, and as long as that happens, you're okay. Now, the other thing that this represents is boundaries. So we have to go to the traditional card for this. All of those outstretched hands can represent people that want more. And if you have more to give, go for it. But there does come a point where you need to make sure that you have enough for yourself. Also, sometimes people just keep asking without giving. So set boundaries, make a request for a return on that. If you're constantly giving money or time, to say, you know what, I need some help with this. If you can help me with this, then I'll help you with that. You may need to barter, or you may need to renegotiate your time and your sort of boundaries to get things in the right direction. This can also represent a legal negotiation or a financial negotiation if you're trying to make sure that you're getting paid enough. All of these things come into focus. Flexibility and fairness are the two things that I would focus on in the present. And as long as you're doing that, you should be okay. In the future position, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which is basically inviting you not to rush and not to overextend. A continuation of what we just talked about. It takes time for the Seven of Pentacles to grow. I'll pull the traditional card while we're talking. But while I'm finding this, a couple of quick notes. If there's somebody who wants you to do something quicker than it should be done, you may just have to have a heart-to-heart and say, like we just talked about, if I do it faster, quality will suffer. Or if you're feeling impatient, ask yourself if you really need it, because the 7 and 6 in rapid succession are really asking you to differentiate between the wants and the needs. Ultimately, though, this is a card that represents the ability to bounce back. So if you just encountered a financial tumult or a health challenge, you can basically bounce back, provided that you go slow and steady, okay? So ultimately, I like what I see here, but it does require discernment, pacing, and patience. Let's move into a catalyst and see how you can bring everything into motion this month. What is something that can really optimize your effectiveness, help you get through some of the challenges that we see, and etc. All right, we have the 10 of Cups. So this is a time where I mentioned platonic or strategic relationships that can sometimes be a part of this 10 of Cups. Friends, chosen family, and people that you just really feel comfortable around. That being said, there may be new love or friendship en route, but take your time on this as well. I definitely got the energy of slow, steady burn if you are looking for love. But speaking of just general challenges in your life, family can help, friends can help. You don't have to make a hard landing. Why not make a soft landing and have the support and the love of others? For those of you that are thinking, Nicholas, I don't have that in my life, this is a month to build it because I saw the ability to create, even if it isn't there. It's very much like the field of dreams. You have to imagine what it is that you want and then create different things in your life that are going to connect you to that. Extracurricular activities, outreach, activism, volunteer work. There are a lot of different ways to connect with others. And this is a time where that is going to bring in new love, new friendship, and new growth. All right, why don't we take a look now at the expanded forecast. As always, we'll begin with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Appropriately enough, in the area of health, we have a card centered around healing a wound from the past. It's the 5 of Pentacles. In this deck, in fact, we see the clock as a central point in this illustration. Also, the sort of ebbs and flows of emotions that may come through. Interestingly enough, when we look at things like grief or even PTSD, you can be fine for a long time and there can then just be one thing that kind of triggers that energy. So if you feel one of those triggers this month, ground yourself, get the support that you need, and there is a chance to make some significant healing and work. Now, if we look at the traditional version of the card, we see that oftentimes when we are met with a feeling of rejection or isolation, it's because the other person was also going through a difficult time. We see a little kid, potentially a parental figure as well, and both of them are suffering. Both of them have their wounds. So if there was a teacher, a friend, a parent, and they just weren't there the way that you needed them to be, know this, they also were going through things. It doesn't completely excuse the situation, but it gives you context now to understand that it wasn't you. And it takes two to tango, so even if there was a level of accountability, it was a two-way street. Now, this also has some additional health connotations. One of them is that if you're working yourself to the point of exhaustion, the Five of Pentacles warns against a cold, a flu, or just basically getting run down. Take a break, pace yourself. Nothing's worth that kind of outcome in the long run. We also see someone here with crutches. So for those of you that might be dealing with any sort of arthritis, aches and pains, or an injury to the foot or legs, please take care of yourself. If there's any sort of slippery surfaces around your house or outside, also be mindful. You want to make sure that you're not multitasking when you're either riding a bike, driving a car, or walking, because sometimes this can create an unnecessary injury. Mostly, though, this can be a chance for you to build up your self-confidence when we're looking at the area of health, because it's how you feel about yourself. And when you start to value yourself enough to say no, to confront people who haven't treated you properly, to basically take care of yourself, everything in your life benefits. So that's why we always start in this expanded forecast with health, because health leads into wealth. And to that end, this card is reminding you that not only are you worthy, but you're probably worth more than you're giving yourself credit for right now, right here. So in the month ahead, please advocate for your full worth. Don't feel bad for asking for more if you need it. This is your moment to shine. All right, why don't we go ahead and go a little bit deeper now and take a look at wealth. Like I said, it's a nice segue into this. Wealth is your resources, your life purpose, and your career. All right, we have a great card coming through here with the Queen of Cups. Passion, compassion, creativity, and intuition are all parts of this card. Lean into your strengths right now, and don't be afraid to share how you feel or what you're thinking. In leadership, this is also leading with kindness, setting a good example, and ultimately this is one of the most receptive cards. So if you really practice the mantra, I'm ready to receive all of this or greater, and you welcome it in, you have a great chance of manifesting. Let's take a couple of moments here and look at all the different subcategories. First of all, we're looking at those who currently have a job. I love that Two of Wands made an appearance here because it's a card of ideation and brainstorming. So the important thing here is to share your ideas and do so with a sense of passion. If you do that, people are more likely to latch on to them. You have some challenges in potentially at work because Six of Pentacles can show that you have enough but not more than enough. So if additional things are added to your plate, you do need to speak up and prioritize and just basically communicate status. Like, this is realistic, I'm gonna need help with this. Or just say no if you can. Seven of Pentacles in the future also showing that there's going to be deadlines that may not be realistic and budgets that may not be realistic, and it's your magic this month is in your ability to work with people and appeal to common sense and sensibility, and your kindness also goes a long way. There's a way to say no in a very, very polite way. There's a way to ask for help with gratitude and with kindness, and I think that's gonna help you get what you need. Teamwork makes the dream work, so ask for help and find additional resources if you need them. All right, moving on from those that are employed to those that are owning their own business, entrepreneurs, or trying to start something brand new. I think this is a great time to do that. In fact, you may not have what you want right now, but you can get what you need. Because this could be a month for you to pitch an idea, possibly attract a business partner if you're looking for partnership or some additional investments. It seems tight but manageable, and I think that you can streamline production or get another person to help out in some way or shape or form, whether it's seasonal or, again, in a larger role like partnership. It is about joining forces, or maybe even finding, they're kind of showing me like a production line, so there might be a way to share production facilities or something of that nature. And then also, I don't want you to lose track about like what's next. Two of Wands for everybody in work is really like now and next. You always want to know what the next step is. And as long as you continue to lead with new ideas and continue to push yourself and the business towards new paths, I think you're actually in a good place. You could be burning out a little bit. This is true of both those that are working and entrepreneurs. The Five of Pentacles is very much something you want to let go of because we see progression in the cards. It just requires a different way of thinking and working. Work smarter, not necessarily harder, okay? If you are looking for work, there are options. They're good options. It may not be everything you want. Definitely the 6 and 7 of Pentacles require a little bit of compromise. But if you're looking for something right now, these are ample. There could be 2 choices in front of you. One might provide a little bit of better like work-life balance, but not as much pay. The other one, more pay, but you're going to sacrifice a little bit more. But it looks like you're going to definitely get an upgrade on what you were getting paid before, and we want to make sure that you're advocating for more. It can't be a lateral move unless absolutely necessary because of what we were talking about with just general, like, it's almost like you're ready to graduate from a cosmic theme from the past. You are worth all of this and then some. How can you find it? Friends, family, and people in your network. And if you don't have a network, you can build a network, getting involved in sort of like organizations and things like that right now. Okay, let's move on to students. These 2 financial cards represent a fine balance between academic priorities and financial responsibilities. So make sure that you're not overextending yourself in either category. You may need to pare down a little bit on whatever work you're doing, or take fewer credit hours so you don't have to work as much, and just kind of like pull out how long you might be studying, like go an extra year so that you don't have to take so many credits and pay so much in one semester. So there's that kind of compromise here. Outside of that, there's this desire to express yourself and try new things. It's a good time for extracurricular and artistic endeavors. 2 of Wands, Queen of Cups, 10 of Cups, very much about activities, creativity, and also the now and the next. For those of you that are feeling a little burnt out, the 2 of Wands is reminding you like why you're working so hard, that this is going to be something that's well worth your time and energy. But this 5 of Pentacles is the reality of making sure that you're not biting off more than you can chew when it comes to financial responsibility. So if you are potentially just looking at colleges, look at all of the options, including free and private opportunities, so that you can find something that will give you what you need without kind of weighing you down with a lot of student loans. It takes a long time to pay it off. I know, because I just recently did mine in the last year. So you never think you might be paying them for like 20 to 25 years, but it happens. So anyway, let's move on from students to retirees. Retirees, it is all about people and experiences and making some plans. I know that some of you are a little bit stressed out about the finances, but there might be some options if you plan enough in advance. The other thing that I'm seeing here is just love, friendship, camaraderie. It really is about creating experiences with people in your life, not always necessarily getting on a plane, train, or automobile to go somewhere. All right, let's move on to the next category, which is love and relationships, very much in alignment with what I was just saying. And let's see what the cards have to say. Two of Swords, a little bit of frustration, but let's break it down. All right, so for some of you, there's just this desire to be seen and heard. Literally, the blindfold goes around the eyes and the ears. And there are a few ways that you can help alleviate this. One is simply to be grateful and thankful. Say, by the way, I don't say this often enough. I really appreciate this or this. Or remember something that someone said, like, oh, I wish I could have this. And then on a birthday or an anniversary, surprise them and they're like, wow, I didn't know you were paying attention. Of course I was. So show that you are actually seeing and hearing and observing someone by demonstrating it through acts of kindness, through articulating it, even if it seems repetitive. I've been doing this a lot, especially since I have like a lovely place that I'm able to stay for like a couple weeks here. I make sure to say, thank you so much for your generosity. It helps to repeat this because too often people will just take it for granted that someone's helping them. I think it's good to exercise a lot of gratitude because it just, it helps clear the energy too. The other thing here is if you, let's say you're a boss or you have the ability to lead people, make sure that you're giving them credit, acknowledging the work that they're doing. If you are in a company, that you give them a raise, that you're basically showing that they make a difference, because this is just, the feeling of this is, do you see me? Am I worth it? All of that. So we want to validate it. And it kind of is it's totally in alignment with the Five of Pentacles from the past. So you can actually learn from previous lack of leadership in your life or lack of support and pay it forward basically with others. Okay. Current partnerships, everything that I just said about gifts, remembering things, and also just checking in. Hey, honey, how are you feeling? How did that go? You said you had to do this and this today. Like, active listening makes all the difference. And just go back and look at the last text or email and make sure that you haven't missed something. So that is really good. You can also, without prompting, do something that your partner loves. Say, by the way, I knew that you wanted, or we're out of this, I thought I would pick up your favorite, brand of coffee, or I cleaned the house for you and I know that you just need to rest tonight. Like, whatever you can do to pull your weight, by all means do it, and know that that is going to be very well received. There could also just be something that they are uncomfortable sharing with you, or vice versa. It's important to open up, like create a safe space, be open, and just try not to be too judgmental, and just allow them to talk. Because sometimes we don't have to give advice, we can just be present, and it is so nice to just be able to be heard sometimes. So a listening ear may be all that your partner needs, okay? If you're single and looking, it's not necessarily coming through in the places that you're currently searching. So if you're active on the apps, or if you're going out to restaurants, bars, or activities, it feels like whatever it is that you're trying, that's not where the person is going to be showing up. What I do see here, though, is friends of friends, family gatherings, possibly even like an after work event or an extracurricular event. It's the sort of casual places that you might meet someone. We do have a water sign coming through, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. The important thing right now is being honest with yourself. There's a lot of work and activities and possibly even some health recovery that you might be going through. Like if there's something that either emotionally or physically you're trying to bounce back from, just make sure that all of that is sorted before you enter into something new. There is a potential to manifest or to find someone. I'm not seeing a lot of options, probably one solid one. Sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong thing. The Queen of Cups here. But I like what I see when it finally comes through. Don't rush it. And I would honestly say when you stop looking, that's when the person finds you. So this is a month to just focus on clearing things out in your energy, in your health, getting on top of things with your money and your sort of work. And when it's all sorted out and you're just taking a deep breath, that's when things happen. So don't try too hard this month. Just be present, and yet absolutely say yes to invitations and gatherings. That's where it's going to happen. If you're single and happy, good for you. I actually feel like this is a really great time to be single and happy. You can still make new connections and meet new people. I feel like you're going to get a lot done. It's a productive month, and mostly creativity wants to present itself. The Two of Swords is this question of like, what next? And it's at odds with the Two of Wands, which kind of already knows. So I think trust what you want rather than trying to think about what you should be doing. And that is going to help you feel happier and more grounded in the long run. Let's take a look at your Destiny card, and then I might pull a bonus one or two after this. So for the Destiny, this is your sort of path that you're currently on. So let's see where you're headed. If you like it, you can keep going, and if you don't, you can course correct. You got two cards, so we don't necessarily need to pull a bonus here. Fantastic. All right, so this is kind of what I was going to do anyway. I usually will look at your Destiny and a breakthrough. So the breakthrough is the Death card, but let's look at your Destiny. So we have the Seven of Cups. It's basically a card of possibilities. So normally it's like this little math meme where you're thinking, what about this? What about that? Give yourself time right now to daydream. It's good. Ask questions. Think big. Think in like blue sky potential. What if, why not, etc. And then eventually pick one of those cups and say, this is the one that I want the most. Don't forever go into the daydreaming mode, but definitely give yourself some time to daydream. So I do like where you're headed, but you may need some clarity. Ask for help, ask for advice if you need it. And your breakthrough, which volunteered itself, is the Death card in reverse. So death is a universal energy. Everybody in every status of life at every possible age can be subject to the energy of change, transformation, and rebirth. So now is the time to make a really big shift and change in your life. And doing so is going to open up a door and a window of possibility for you. There's an illusion and even a fear associated with death. It is not necessarily scary. It's just an end of one thing. So if you are ready for something new to come through, don't be afraid to close a door on something and say, I think I'm done with this. And once you've done that, see how you feel and see what comes through. Don't just say think though. Say, I'm done with this and I'm ready for an upgrade. That can be your mantra. And now let's wrap up with a final question. This can be anything that you still need some assistance on. Go ahead and meditate on that. I'll pull a final card here and we'll wrap up this reading. All right, so your final question is answered by the Hermit. So give yourself a little bit of time to research this. As a yes or a no, it's a yes, but really give it one last moment of meditation to get certain. When you're certain, you're strong, you're more assertive, and you're going to land on your feet. Other nuances of this card. Some of you just need a break, and you need a break not just from like work and activities, but people in general. Carve out some space for yourself so that you can recharge, refresh, and renew. What an amazing month for you. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to read for you. If you enjoyed this, by the way, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like, and leave a comment below. While you're here, you can also leave a comment with a sticker. That little bit of extra effort allows me to do more videos just like this, so thank you so much. If you would like to find out a little bit more about me and connect in other ways, you can go to my website, which is listed right here, nicholasashbaugh.com. From there, if you prefer to give back through PayPal, there's a link to do so. You can also book a private reading with me so that we could have a longer one-on-one in-depth conversation. Would love to meet you. Look at the website for rates and availability. Additionally, you can follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, and all the official links are on my website. So that wraps it up for today. I just want to say thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I hope you have a great month ahead, and I'll see you again for the dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. Until then, be well.